Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more Victoria 2 as the United States. So I did check the wiki in between videos and try to learn a little bit more about influence. It seems like the total score of nation relative to your total score has a factor on how much influence that we gain. But basically, we're going to spend influence to do things with these countries. Like let's say we go to like Texas. If we wanted to add them to sphere, adds this country to our sphere of influence, you only have 26.6 of the 100 influence required. So every day we're going to gain influence, currently at a rate of 0.26. So because we're kind of prioritizing Texas, we can do that. I think though that there's an event that just makes them join our country, so we might want to do that instead. But there is an advantage to adding a country to your sphere of influence, and we'll talk about it in more detail probably as we go on. But essentially, the trade system in this game is national, or actually, sorry, not national, it's worldwide. There's like a local market, and then there's the world market, and whichever country has the most prestige, right? Unlike in CK2, where prestige is just an opinion modifier to some extent, and like how powerful your dynasty is, and who cares. And unlike in EU4, where you can only have 100 prestige, in this game, prestige is a cumulative number, and whoever has the most gets first priority on buying items on the world market. So what happens is, let's say that you have an artisan, right? Like a chair maker or something, and he wants to buy wood to make chairs. First, he's going to try to buy it on the local market, within your own country. If he can't find it, then he's going to buy it on the world market, probably at a higher price and probably have to pay tariffs. So he doesn't get priority, though, unless your country has a lot of prestige. Now, the advantage to adding a country to your sphere of influence is that, for all intents and purposes, they are essentially considered local. So let's just say we added Mexico to our sphere, then if that artisan who needed wood could find wood in Mexico, he doesn't have to be, we don't have to have more prestige than on some other country in order to access that wood. Since it's a part of the local market, he gets to buy it directly. So the disadvantage is that the more countries we add to our sphere of influence, the less money we can make from tariffs. But I don't really understand too much what the strategic benefit is to having high tariffs or low tariffs or whatever, so I'm just not going to mess with it. And we're just not going to worry about it. We're going to add as many people to our sphere as possible. Because they also, if they're in your sphere, they're very likely to respond to alliances and things. And unless I'm mistaken, I don't think in this game there is any kind of relationship slot limit. You know, you're just limited by how diplomatic you can be. So it's not like in EU4 where you can only have 3 people as your ally, or 4 people. And then after that you pay a monarch point penalty. There are no monarch points in this game. So I am going to turn that music down just a tiny bit, just to make sure that we're not getting overwhelmed there. Sounds kind of loud to me. But the following states have unemployed factory workers. 54 unemployed craftsmen in Arkansas. 5,000 unemployed craftsmen in Massachusetts. Clicking on this is just taking me to the production menu. I don't know how to solve this problem, but like maybe if we go to population and then we look at Massachusetts, we can expand that down. In Massachusetts in general, we've got unemployed craftsmen. There are 19,000 craftsmen. So I guess because they don't have jobs to do, these craftsmen, 10 people will demote to soldiers each month. So they're going to go down from a craftsman to a soldier. And I don't really know. When I hear the word demote, I think that's like a downgrade, but I think it's more just like, maybe it is like a pyramid where, you know, you start off as a farmer and work your way up. But I don't know. I mean, obviously the aristocrats, you know, artisans and bureaucrats have got to be higher than a farmer. So I guess, is there some way that I can maybe help them by building a factory or something in Massachusetts? It's somewhere around here, isn't it? I should know, really. I mean, I really should. It's not going to label it for me, huh? Is there a Find Province button? Yes, there is. This is embarrassing. Right. Totally. There it is. Okay, so that looks like rain. Is that railroad? I didn't realize we had railroad already. That's kind of cool. So we can make it into a rally point. And yes, it does have a railroad. You can visually see it on the map too. Level 1 railroad. Supply limit goes up. Factory throughput. RGO. Let's see if I can remember off the top of my head what RGO stands for. Rural growth output. Goods output. Or something goods output. It's just basically like the amount of food or whatever product it is that they make there. That they're making. This one makes iron. Well, I don't think that our country, at this point, we are a democracy. When it comes to production, I don't think that we are allowed to build factories. No, we can't build factories or anything. But then again, an artisan doesn't need a factory. I don't know, like, what is it that they could make? Whatever. Just assume that it's not my problem. We're just going to have to play the game. We'll figure it out next time. Abolitionist pamphlets. An extensive tract describing the purported unconstitutionality of slavery is being widely disseminated in Joplin. Allowing its continued circulation might upset the lower classes, where it has seen its widest circulation, but attempting to curtail the distribution will definitely be regarded as an attack on freedom of speech, which will anger the district's bigwigs. Shall we try to curtail the distribution? All poor strata in Joplin will gain consciousness. Or we can say I, and instead have the rich and middle classes gain consciousness. Now, I guess we'll find out in the future, but I think that's research points. Where's consciousness? Here. The average consciousness of our population is 1.78. Huh. I'm going to play this game at a slow pace. So if you're feeling like I need to just like go, move on and press the fast forward button, well, that's not how I really learn games. So we're just going to take our time and enjoy the ride. Okay? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So, okay. Let's talk about Joplin. Let's see if we can find Joplin. Okay. So Joplin is it's part of this region of Missouri. And it is I guess I should learn what the technical term is. I know that this is is this Joplin the province or is Missouri the province? I remember when I first started learning Crusader Kings 2 and the whole term, like, county, duchy, kingdom, like, those tiers didn't make any sense to me. And this is kind of the way that this one is right now. Like, I just don't know the proper terminology. Anyway, so we can take a look at the population here in Joplin. And oh, I've got them all disabled, that's why. So the total population in Joplin is only 5,000 people. And we can see that the workforce it's 92.5% laborers here. Which I'm assuming laborers are classified as poor. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if we just go to the budget screen, yeah, we can see that these classifications of population are considered poor people. And then middle class are these types: artisans, bureaucrats, clergymen, clerks, and officers. And the rich are just your aristocrats and capitalists. So if it's telling us that the population in Joplin... Okay, so right now... Yeah, I just want to see Joplin still. It's still got them open, even though it's not... doesn't have this thing expanded. Let's just click on Joplin again. I like it when it's like that. So there's 5,000 of them. And... laborers... clergymen. Long story short, we know that 92% laborers, 92% of the population here is poor. And what that event is saying is that essentially we can either choose to raise the consciousness of these laborers by like 0.2. Monthly change is negative. The clergy are... I think consciousness is a good thing, isn't it? It's like how smart and how educated, how informed the population is. I'm going to try to go towards consciousness and just see if I'm right or wrong about that. I don't know. In the meantime, let's keep a close eye on Mexico. I don't yet know if there's a way to like set special interest for countries. Is that what that button was right there? Okay, no, this is what? Estimated yearly change. Cannot go over this relation with gradual improvements, 105. Wonder why. Okay, so they are at war with Mexico. I've just got to find the map mode. You can see right there, at war with Mexico. This just doesn't... it says friendly. Is that my relationship with them, probably? And then the other thing is that if you go to the military tab, or which one is it? It's the diplomacy tab, where we can see wars, and wars are listed in like a list here. So we've got the Texas War of Independence. It's Mexico. We cannot join this side because we cannot join a side that has added any war goals except status quo. Their job is, what they're trying to do is annex Texas. They demand this from Texas. Territorial war goals that are at least 75% fulfilled will gradually add war score to the claimant. If the war goal is not fulfilled after a grace period of 730 days, it will instead add war score to the owner. So okay, so we've got a defensive and offensive ticking war score. That makes sense. And then on this side, we cannot intervene. We can only join the losing side of a war. The current war score is at least 1%. So we're not allowed to step in and help Texas because they are still at 0%. Makes sense. But Texas's military strength, they have 3 regiments, or 3 platoons? What are they called? Brigades. Okay. So I'm just going to assume that we're going to need to help them out. Let's position some men over there and just kind of be ready for that. What is our supply limit here? 40? We can pile on a few troops here and there. I hope I'm not spreading myself too thin by sending them all over this way. Now, something else I'm completely unaware of is what the difference is between the different types of boats. I was looking through here at the Navy screen, and there's all these different types of ships. You got a clipper transport, which I understand can carry 1 unit, but it doesn't say that on here. It just says supplies weight, which is how much it costs as far as a ship, like a force limit cost type thing. And you compare that to like the man of war, which is a supplies weight of 2, so it costs twice as many. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe you're just supposed to know that the word transport means that it can transport things. That would be pretty sensible. The steam transport costs a lot more. Oh, I just told it to build something. No, I don't want to build that. Where can I see the type of goods that it costs? You need $3, 3.9 pounds every day to pay for supplies. Is this telling him, is that a good right there? Is that all that it costs? Is just materials? Seven what? Well, let's go look at the trade system and see if we can find that little icon. Now, believe it or not, there are mods. Artillery. Okay, that looks like the artillery icon. Okay, so if I'm just trying to make sure I'm figuring out what's going on here. If we were in the Navy screen, it's saying 7, just hull. 17 hull, 9 artillery. Is there like a hull icon? Yeah. Oh, it's a clipper convoy. Clipper convoys. When it says 17 ships, it's 17 Clipper convoys to make a frigate. And I guess what makes sense to me in my head then is that it's not really a ship that you're building. It's like a regiment or a what do they call it again here? A brigade of convoys, which is why it would take 17 hulls instead of just one. Okay, well that makes some sense to me. So we've got our men rallying down here to help out Texas soon because I just feel like that's the right thing to do. Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was an informal network run by abolitionists of varying creeds and colors, dedicated to helping slaves escape from the southern slave states to freedom in the North. We have every reason to believe that Nashville has recently developed into a hotbed of railroad activity. We could put pressure on local politicians to combat their activities, but only at the risk of stirring up abolitionist sentiment in the North. Shut it down and have them gain consciousness, or leave it be. They will gain, Underground Railroad until 22 February 1837. So for a whole year, they get local consciousness plus 0.02. Is that like a ticking thing then? Nashville. Is there like a score on consciousness? I don't know. It's a slave state. I don't see an overall like modifier on the province, but I'm going to assume that that's per day. 0.02 per day, right? It's a lot of stuff. Well, I'm just going to kind of go with history and kind of interject some of my own personal beliefs. I think slavery is wrong, so let's support the Underground Railroad because, you know, it happened in real life and it was a good thing, I think. So we'll leave it be. Just see where that takes us. And I think that's probably a decent enough spot to wrap things up. So I will see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching as always, everyone. See you again soon.